Hey guys, sorry if there was a bit of a pause there. My camera counter is a bit weird. But today's video is going to be a bit of a public service announcement. And over the time that I have been on YouTube, which has been quite a while now, I've discussed my identity a lot. I've gone on kind of an identity journey. I'm talking about gender identity. It really should be nothing new. But it's something I've brought up a lot and something I felt like I've had to bring up a lot. And today I'm bringing it up again because I'm just putting it on the record that I am trans. I am. And a lot of people don't understand that, and I'm not trying to sound like a snowflake or anything. I'm just being real. Like, my identity is a bit more complex of I was female and now I'm male. I really just I mean, I call myself male. When I was a child, I thought about what it would be like to be male, and I use him, he, his pronouns, and I refer to myself as, a boyfriend and a son or child, and a brother or sibling, you know, um, I identify as I identify as, you know, gender queer, trans masculine, demi boy, except I don't really like the term demi boy. It feels like it just if you use that term, that's fine, or not for me, but if you're a person who uses that term to describe yourself, that's fine. I just personally think that it kind of takes away from someone's identity. But what people don't get is I get a lot of people saying that I'm confused. I get a lot of people saying that the people who are supportive of my identity shouldn't indulge me, shouldn't indulge my fantasies, and that they shouldn't let me lock myself into any, firm masculine identifying identity, which is kind of weird. I don't really get that. I don't really understand that. I've also been told directly that I am trying to appropriate masculinity, which is something I really maybe I mean, there is a difference between trying to pass, and appropriation of any kind. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth of it. I mean, it's like, and I'm sorry, I know these are sensitive topics to talk about, but I just have to use this as an example. I'm not going out in blackface. I'm not, like, wearing a feather headdress and going to powwows. I'm not I'm not doing things that are blatantly offensive to any culture, except for, I have some Native American memorabilia because, I care about the culture. But that's not what we're talking about. Right now, we're talking about my gender identity. And, I am not, I used to be obsessed with trying to pass. That was something when I thought gender was more black and white. You know, passing was my everything. I didn't really believe, and I'm sorry, I don't mean to offend. It's just I for some reason had this idea that gender just had to be black and white, and I didn't really believe people who said that they were genderqueer or you know, like any other gender than male or female, even if they were, you know, trans. I knew that people transitioned from male to female or female to male, and of course I was okay with that. But I didn't ever feel like there was another option. I thought that that was just people being confused. Until I realized that for as long as I can remember, I've never been able to mentally lock myself in to any particular gender. Like, when I was young, I cut my hair, I wore the baggy clothes, I looked like I could be in a boy band. Okay, and I loved that. That made me feel comfortable. But I still loved Hello Kitty. I played with my Barbies. You know, I read girly magazines as well as playing in the dirt, looking for bugs, you know, and I know that these things that are identified as traditionally masculine and traditionally feminine, it's just all like, you know, it's tricky. But what I'm basically trying to say is that for pretty much since I was a child, I've never really tried to lock myself into any kind of box. You know, I would do things that the guys would do, but I would also do things that the girls would do. And that's just how it's been. But the way I feel most comfortable, and this is important, I call myself male. I use male pronouns. I call myself a brother and a son and a boyfriend. That's what I feel is right for me. And to say one's pronouns don't matter, and to say one's identity cannot be explained, isn't for you to say. Just be respectful. Honestly, I'm going to tell you, if you are cisgender and know people who are trans, and this may just come across, I mean, I hate that I even have to say this, but just fucking humor them. Even if you don't believe. Because it is much, much, much more important for the person to feel good about themselves and feel safe and then whatever your agenda is. Because we don't have an agenda. The homosexual agenda, the transgender agenda, they don't exist. We don't have an agenda. We just want to live our fucking lives. The people who have an agenda are the ones who are trying to oppose us and coming up with all these crazy ideas about things that we don't even care about and things that we don't even do. Trying to push us down. Trying to cover us up like we are unimportant. And we are not unimportant. We are very important. We are people in this world, in this society, in this culture, that are just like everybody else. So it pains me to say this, but even if you have to humor your trans friends, just do it. Because it'll make them feel safe. And that's what we need. We need to feel safe in our own skin. And yeah, I'm aware that adjusting to having a trans person in your life takes some getting used to. It is hard, and you will make mistakes, and you will use the wrong pronoun, and you will use the wrong name at first, but it should only be at first. because you should really, really try and open your mind and open your heart to having a trans or gender questioning or non-binary person in your life. I mean, what more can I say? What more can I say? My gender is valid, and it should be treated as such. I have struggled with my identity my whole life, and I'm not just talking about my gender. I'm talking about like subcultures, trying to fit in, trying to find a place to be. But I have gone on a gender journey. I mean, when I came out, I just tried to be so macho, in your face, masculine, and that wasn't me. Sorry, my cat just came in. Give me half a second. That just was not me, or who I was, or how I wanted to be. You know, I care much more about many more things than passing. And I used to think that that was the most important thing. But now I'm mostly comfortable as long as people get it. As long as I can say, hey, I may look like a girl, and I may dress like a girl, and fuck, I may act like a girl, but I am not a girl. And if you don't believe that, or if that doesn't somehow mesh with your viewpoints, it doesn't matter. Because you can be Mary Jane or Cindy Lou or John Smith, and that's good for you because that's who you are. And I'm not going to tell you otherwise. I'm not going to say that you're Jim Bob when you're clearly like Sue Ann. Like, I'm not going to do that because that's not who you are. And I'm just saying, respecting everybody is important. And I mean, I don't like saying this, but if there's a person in your life who you care about and who you love, who is struggling with their identity, whether they're gay or trans or whatever, I mean, if you care about them, you'll respect them. And that's all I have to say. Thank you for watching.